Ends with breaking news.
And here at 11 o'clock this morning, the breaking news: DC's 3 giant pandas left the National Zoo for the last time this morning, and they have arrived at Dulles Airport.
And in a short time, they will be heading back to China. We knew it was going to happen, although the exact date was kept a secret. The news had panda fans flocking to say goodbye to the bears, who have long been one of the zoo's main attractions. And with that, we say good morning and welcome to this special edition of News 4 Midday. I'm Millette Green.
And I'm Jumi Olabanji. Chopper 4, if you were with us earlier this morning, followed the panda's journey from the zoo in downtown DC to the airport. The pandas were put into crates, something zookeepers have been practicing for weeks, and then they were loaded onto trucks. News 4's Amy Cho is live at the airport with a closer look at what will happen next. Amy, good morning.
Hi, ladies. Good morning. This is it. This is the final farewell. It is so hard to believe the day has finally come to bid goodbye to our beloved Mei Xiang, Xiao Qiji, and Tian Tian. Now, the truck carrying the 3 pandas in their crates just pulled in a short time ago here at Dulles International Airport. The pandas have not yet been loaded onto the plane, but we are standing by waiting for that to happen. Now, unfortunately, if you do have a flight scheduled out of Dulles today, it is not your lucky day. You are not going to be able to catch a glimpse of those pandas. We are in a separate area of the airport from the main terminal. Obviously, pandas, huge celebrities. They have a big entourage, lots of zookeepers and security and things of that sort. But I want to step out of the way and give you a better look. This is the Panda Express, as it's called, the FedEx plane that is going to carry those beloved pandas on their 19-hour journey to Chengdu, China. Now, pandas are just like us. They have layovers too. They're going to have a brief layover to refuel in Alaska, and they will continue on their way. They are scheduled to land sometime tomorrow morning. Now, this is a state-of-the-art plane. It has been tricked out specially for this trip. The pandas are all going to be in separate crates when they make that journey, so they're not just going to be wandering around the plane, but they have been getting crate training so they can learn how to be comfortable in those crates. They, of course, have plenty of snacks as well. You need that anytime you're going on a long flight. They have several hundred pounds of bamboo, along with some treats such as apples and carrots and sweet potatoes. So very healthy. Even the treats are healthy treats there. And they're going to have multiple zookeepers as well as a veterinarian on board. So they should be in good hands as they are making their way over to China. Now, this really is the end of an era here in DC. The pandas first came over in 1972. That was Ling Ling and Xing Xing, the OG pandas. They were a gift after President Richard Nixon had visited China. It was a symbol of friendship and diplomacy. And then our beloved Mei Xiang and Tian Tian got here in 2000. So this will be the first time in 23 years that DC has been without pandas. It is going to be such an adjustment. This morning, I checked the panda cam. It was empty. We were just looking at an empty habitat. It was so sad. It did not feel right. And now the National Zoo says that webcam is going to be down because the pandas have officially left. So that is very sad. But the good news is, the silver lining in all of this, one of the ultimate goals of the Panda program has been to conserve the species. So in that sense, it has been a big success. Back in 2021, China announced that pandas are no longer endangered. They are still at risk, but not endangered, so that is fantastic. Mei Xiang and Tian Tian, now 25 and 26, they're going to be headed off to a lovely retirement, so we're told. They're considered elderly pandas. And then their little one, Xiao Qiji, he is 3, so the hope is that in the next few years, he can also become a father as well and have cubs of his own. So that is going to be so lovely to see whenever that happens. It seems like just yesterday that he was born, that little stick of butter, and so many of us watched him and his parents grow up over the years on that cam. So it is certainly going to be the end of an era. Hard to believe that they are headed back to China. We are standing by waiting for remarks at 11:45-ish, and then they're going to be loading the pandas onto that plane behind me. We're going to stay here and bring you all of that as it unfolds. Back to you.
Yeah.
Well, Mei Xiang and Tian Tian, they have served us well.
Job
I mean,
well
really,
done.
we love them. And we have Xiao Qiji and saw that arrival, that birth and all of that, as Amy just described. It's been so wonderful. And it's so sad for so many people who came to visit, got in the last look, and some people who didn't get in that last look, you know.
Well, hopefully more pandas in our future.
Yeah.
And so you saw it behind Amy, that plane that it will carry the pandas back to China. It landed at Dulles in the 9 o'clock hour.
Yes, and News 4's Joseph Omo and photographer Indira Levine brought us those great shots as the plane was coming in. Joseph, he joins us live with that elevated view once again. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. You know, Amy has the up front view of that Boeing 777 freighter aircraft behind me. We have the bird's eye view, and we're going to give it to you right now. Again, that is a Boeing 777. That is a FedEx plane. It came in from Memphis, Tennessee this morning. The world headquarters of FedEx landed a short time ago, and it'll be wheels up before we know it. I also want to draw your attention, Indira, if you can start zooming out a little bit and just showing the, I don't know if we would call them crowds, but there's certainly a good group of people here, roughly 24 people out here, just average Joes. And then you also have some aviation photographers with the really, really big cameras out here taking pictures of a special plane that certainly doesn't land at Dulles every day. This is a big moment. We have seen Panda flights before, right, over the years, but it certainly doesn't happen every day. And unfortunately, we don't know when or if it's going to happen again. So you are looking right now at the crowd out here. We expect, like Amy said, for there to be some sort of remarks given at around 11:45, and then that plane over there going to be wheels up at around 1 p.m. And of course, we will be here for every moment of the way. But just take it in. That is the Panda Express you're looking at, guys. Certainly something you don't see every day here at Dulles.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. This is it. Our final three here in Washington, about to depart, leaving for China.
That's right. And Joseph, thank Indira. She has that steady hand and got those beautiful shots of the plane landing a few hours ago.
Indira's a hero. Indira is a hero, and we all know she is. She's under control here for sure. She's the boss woman behind the camera here, making sure that everything is smooth here. So we thank her.
Absolutely, every single day. Joseph, Indira, thank you so much. And as we continue to watch all the activity going on at the airport there, we have a little information now about the pandas who are leaving us.
Yeah, let's give some background here. TNTN arrived in 2000, 26 years old. The name means more and more.
Yes, and Mei Zhang arrived in 2000, 25 years old. Her name means beautiful, fragrant.
And then Chao Chi-ji, born in 2020, 3 years old. Name means little miracle, which is so apropos because it's so hard to get a baby. To get a cub, as we have seen over the years, as we have followed all of the pandas that have come into Washington to our National Zoo. The journey to the airport, it started at the zoo, and officials there, you know, they really had their exit plan carefully mapped out.
Yes, all the different routes of police officers, and Juliana Valencia as well, who's been at the zoo all morning long and joins us now live with how this trip back to China all began. Juliana.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we were there outside the zoo waiting at 6 a.m. to be let inside before all of this started, and we had the process begin of getting these 3 panda bears out of the zoo. And let me tell you, a lot of visitors have been walking by today disappointed, many finding out today that the pandas are no longer here. So take a look. This is what folks are going to see when they get to the panda habitat. They have signs showing that it is now closed, as well as an empty habitat. You know, there were a lot of moving parts to make this transportation happen, so it just ended up being that today was move out day. It was something that the zoo kept secret to avoid just crowds and crowds of people showing up. But I do want to show you some video of how that process worked. So the first panda to leave was Mom, Mei Shan. She was there in one of these crates, and the crates, they're large enough for the pandas to be able to move around with several holes in it. So it's hard for you to see inside, but the pandas are in there. So we had Mei Shan go first. Then you had Father Tian Tian come out. And then the last, we had little 3-year-old Chao Chi-ji.
Everyone keeps asking me how I feel, and this is a hard morning. It's been a hard week, and it's been a hard morning. But ultimately, our focus today is on the safe transport of these animals to China. And it's a moment of joy because this is one more step in 50 years of a successful giant panda conservation program.
China will continue to work closely with cooperation partners, including the United States, on the conservation and research of endangered species and biodiversity protection.
You know, once those 3 crates were loaded onto these specially marked FedEx trucks, you saw them then roll out onto Connecticut Avenue. It was quite exciting there to kind of see them go out there. And also, too, I want to talk about how, you know, zoo staff was telling me that the animals, the pandas, weren't necessarily stressed going in. It was more the zoo staff and zookeepers. Pretty emotional for many of them to see them go. I witnessed this one moment where there was a zoo staff member who had just seen Xiao Qiji go off, and she's in tears, and another staff member, they hold an embrace because this is a very, very bittersweet time. But zoo staff does tell me that they are hopeful that the pandas will return, so much so that they are continuing on with a $2.5 million renovation for this habitat here. They say the first step is they're going to take a breath, you know, kind of let this moment pass, and they're going to work on the renovations. That's going to take about 8 to 10 months, and after that, they'll reassess. If it seems like the pandas will come back soon, then they'll wait, but if not, they may put some animals in there temporarily. But you know, again, you saw that group walking by. You know, a lot of people here were eager to see the pandas. People said they made whole trips around it, just maybe a day too late. But again, ladies, this is kind of emotional for me too. I had just started and we were covering saying bye-bye to Bebe, but then we had the comfort of Xiao Qiji being born, and now to see all 3 of them leave, it is tough, but we wish them well.
Yeah, and you feel for those employees at the National Zoo, some of them who have worked at the Panda Conservation Program for 10, 15, 20 years.
Seen it born, such a connection.
I mean, their jobs are going to change for sure.
Yeah. The entire national zoo experience changes. And in the days, weeks, and months to come, we'll follow all of that as well.
Thank you, Juliana. You know, we all felt like we've grown close to the pandas, especially if you grew up here like we did. But it is those keepers that have really developed a special relationship with the pandas.
That's right. News 4's Un Yang spoke to some of the zoo's panda keepers about what this departure means to them.
I mean, this has been my career for almost 30 years, and I don't know what a day is like without working with pandas, so that's going to be a huge, huge change, so it's going to be hard.
It's an emotional time for sure. It's personal, you know, I've worked with them for nearly 23 years and I've loved every minute of it, so it'll be hard to say goodbye, but I'm happy that they get to enjoy their retirement in their homeland, and I know they'll do great there. They're fantastic bears, and I've enjoyed all the memories that I've made with them over the years.
I'm definitely have a mix of feelings. So I'm excited, I'm nervous, and definitely, you know, I'm sad the pandas are leaving. So it's a massive, you know, career highlight for me to get to do this trip. But I also know that, you know, at the end of this trip, I'll be coming back to the zoo and they won't be here. So it's a lot of mixed emotion.
The one-on-one relationship is probably the best part of my job. You know, they definitely look to us for comfort. They know us really well and they trust us. So in a time of kind of stress where, you know, they're in this place where they don't know what's going on, I suspect they will come and sit next to us and, you know, look to us for calming reassurance.
You know, I end every night telling them good night, I'll see you tomorrow. So I might just do that. Even though I won't see them tomorrow, I might just keep up the tradition.
Mixed emotions for sure. You know, the personal connections they had with the individual bears and also their professional work, because this was really important work that they were doing for decades.
And it was successful. I mean, they were able to get Tian Tian and Mei Shang to have babies. Taishan has gone on and went back to China, had babies. Bao Bao had babies. And so this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to have more pandas.
That's right. And Xiao Qiji, of course, is next on the list to help help in the production to keep this going.
Well, you know, the zoo didn't open until 10 o'clock this morning. There were a lot of people, though, who gathered outside as the pandas were leaving.
That's right. News 4's Tommy McFly was right there with them as the pandas rolled out, and he's live across the street now with more reaction and, of course, more signatures on the farewell board there.
Yes, the farewell board is rocking, and we have been asking people to stop by, send a message of love for the panda. You can see them. They're all around here, but I need my pal Echo. Come on in here, Echo. Can you translate this for me? What does that say?
So this means 美香甜甜小奇迹. We are waiting for you.
Ah, there you go. We are waiting for you. So a message of when they get to where they're going, we're waiting for you. We're learning Chinese today, too, over here. There's a lot going on, and people were gathered. Regular Connecticut Avenue, sort of hustle and bustle going on right now, but earlier today, people were gathered. We got to talk to folks as they saw the pandas leave, and we do presidential motorcades like every day around here. This, though, was something different, something special.
They're dignitaries, so they got a very dignified exit.
What would you tell the pandas?
I miss you. I really want to cuddle with you.
I'm like, man, I really should have seen them a lot more while I was here. Took advantage of it. Now
you have that moment, like you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we share that you missed them by a day? What were you doing yesterday that you didn't come yesterday?
We went to see the monuments. We woke up late, realized the panda feeding was at 9. We're like, we'll see it tomorrow. Went to see the monuments. And now today, but we get this special experience of saying goodbye.
You're very glass half full. That's good.
Yes, hopefully.
Was it your idea or the husband's idea to go see the monuments yesterday?
Oh, it was mine, unfortunately.
It's just kind of heartbreaking to see him go. You know, we wish him well.
I love the pandas.
And we've also got your chance, if you can't make it to right outside of the zoo on Connecticut Avenue by Baked by Yael Cake Pop Shop, you can go on to @NBC Washington and @Mr. Tommy McFly on Instagram. Download our panda panels, download the panda card, post your own, tag us. We want to share those today as well. By the way, we all saw Frankie this morning. Frankie, Angie, Mona, come on back in here. Did you get a new toy? What's going on here, Frankie?
Well, there's this necklace that I got of a panda head, and then in here...
You might have a new panda obsession?
I got someone so that he can enjoy a new friend, because he never knew what a red panda was.
There you go.
And so he now gets to see what a red panda is.
Frankie, your day around Washington is going pretty well, despite the whole no panda thing.
True, but the worst part of my day was seeing the pandas. The worst part of my day was seeing the FedEx trucks.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man. But it's getting even better, though. So we've got a lot of people who feel the same way as you, posting all of these amazing well wishes all on our wall. And you can come join us. We'll be here through News 4 at 4, 5, and 6 today. I want to show you some of the art that we have, too. We have a literal sad panda. Look at this. And on just the Cox family from Phoenix, Arizona, hashtag sad panda. I'm going to send that back to you just on that little visual. Come join us this afternoon. We'd love to see you and have our sign on our wall.
Yeah, the message board is up and waiting for your signatures. It is so nice to see, Jimmy, Frankie rebounded.
Yeah, he got
with merch.
Rusty the red panda.
Yeah, I love it.
Because remember, his panda is Panda.
Right.
And now he's got Rusty, the red panda.
We got to find out the red panda's name that he's giving.
it.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. Well, you know, you're taking a look at the plane right now there at Dulles Airport. That is where we expect the pandas to be loaded onto the plane and then take off within the next 2 hours.
Yeah, Brad Freitas is live in Chopper 4 to tell us what you are seeing from the air, Brad, as you know, you followed the motorcade as it was making its way to Dulles. What's going on now from your vantage point?
That's right. So we're sitting over Dulles right now, anxiously awaiting the final press conference to bid farewell to these pandas. And of course, it was an extensive motorcade getting out of the National Zoo and headed towards this direction as we watched multiple motorcycles going along the route and clearing the path for these VIPs, these very important pandas, as they made their way towards Dulles Airport. And it was an interesting route, different than the 2019 departure of Bebe that we covered. They actually went through a scenic route in D.C. to take 66 to the toll road and out here towards Dulles. And it was smooth sailing once they got out of the district and made their way onto the highway. But no issues as they arrived here at Dulles, and they're very shortly going to get their way onto this jumbo jet and head home. It's going to be a sad farewell, but a very, very nice time they had here with us at the National Zoo. This is Brad Freitas reporting live from Chopper 4. We'll bring you those images of the pandas being loaded onto this jet very shortly. Guys, back down to you.
Can't wait, because this is a big day for all of us. Yeah, and Jimmy, you know, we were wondering if they were going to take a left or a right outside of the zoo gate onto Connecticut Avenue, but they took the scenic route.
Yep, they went left. Well, we will have much more of our coverage of the departure of the National Zoo's giant pandas.
Our coverage continues, so stay with us.
Snell Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Expert same-day home services.
The News 4 I team is taking you inside the local fight against fentanyl. One guy operating out of Woodbridge is able to get 18,000 pills or more from the cartels in Mexico.
Right.
Why it is hard to detect and so easy to get hooked.
Today on News 4 at 4. You've probably seen a lot of gutter ads on TV recently, but none match Gutter Helmet from Ledner Home. Gutter Helmet uses high-strength, long-lasting aluminum, not PVC plastic, and is ranked America's best gutter system by Forbes. Call for a free estimate and save 50% off installation.
When someone's injured at a place of business or in a public space, that shouldn't happen. Slip and falls, falling objects, a drowning, crimes like assault, rape, and even murder. We've handled them all, and we have a team of lawyers that handle only these cases. But here's the thing, don't wait. Evidence and witnesses disappear. Time matters, size matters. Let America's largest injury firm go to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Popeye's new sweet and spicy wings don't make sense. Marinated and tossed in a blend of chili, garlic, and ginger, as sweet as they are spicy. Speaking of flavor, order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes this holiday season.
Prison was very dehumanizing.
I knew if I built myself with information, that's something to be proud of.
The man will never change until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change.
Thanks to Congressman Troon, the Second Chance Act was passed.
Had me feeling like a student and not a prisoner. It melted the barbed wire with me.
Once I realized I was going home,
I think David believes in second chances.
I'm David Troon, and I approve this message.
Climbing a ladder to unclog your gutters is dangerous. Gutter Helmet by Ledner Home offers maintenance-free solutions that offer a lifetime performance warranty to keep your gutters clean and free-flowing all year round. Call for a free estimate and save 50% off installation.
We've been saying bye-bye to the pandas, and right now, Tian Tian, Meizhong, and Chao Chi-ji are preparing to take off for China. The National Zoo's 3 giant pandas are leaving our area for good.
Yeah, the pandas were on loan to the zoo from China, but efforts to renew the zoo's current panda agreement, which ends December 7th, have been unsuccessful, and we expect to hear from zoo officials at the airport in just a few minutes to give some remarks. So we invite you to stay with us throughout the hour for continued coverage.
All right, to some other news here. Decision 2023, those election results are in, and this morning Virginia Democrats are celebrating. They're projected to regain full control of the General Assembly after 2 years of divided power. That is according to NBC News and the Associated Press.
Democrats already held the Senate. They are projected to hold 21 seats there to Republicans 18, with one race still undecided. Democrats also flipped the state house with a projected 51 seats to Republicans 48.
Commercial real estate attorney Josh Thomas beat his Republican opponent, former Prince William County Supervisor John Stirrup. That's the 52nd seat for Democrats.
Also in Prince William County, former Manassas Councilmember Republican Ian Lovejoy has won the vacant House seat in District 22. He beat first-time candidate Democrat Travis Nemhard.
Further south in Fredericksburg in House District 65, former delegate Democrat Joshua Cole beat Stafford County Sheriff's Office Captain and Republican Lee Peters for an open seat due to redistricting.
Out west to House District 30 in Loudoun and Fauquier counties, former Supervisor Republican Gary Higgins won against political newcomer and pastor Rob Vance. Virginia Democrats are projected to have victories in some key Senate races as well.
Especially that contentious District 31 race. You saw all the commercials. It covers Loudoun County, part of Fauquier County. Democrat Russet Perry, the projected winner over Republican Juan Pablo Segura. Segura conceded the race last night. Perry focused on the issue of abortion and women's rights and won 53% of the vote. And at her victory party last night, Perry spoke to News 4 about what her win means for women's rights in the Commonwealth.
This is about abortion. I think it's about abortion rights. I think we saw here in Virginia what we have seen across the country. When people try to take women's rights with rights that they've had for more than 50 years, people stand up and say no. I think whenever you look at the ballots tonight here in Loudoun and you look at the choices people made, people were smart about what they picked, how they picked.
In a statement released last night, Juan Pablo Segura called it the honor of his lifetime to run in the race.
Meanwhile, Danica Rome made history in Virginia once again. She is projected to win the District 30 Senate race, which covers Prince William County. The Democrat state delegate was already the first openly transgender member of the House. She'll now become the first openly trans person in Virginia's state Senate. At a victory party last night, Rome accused her opponent of discrimination during their campaign.
Politics of discrimination lost this campaign, and our message, fixing roads, feeding kids, protecting our land, making Virginia a more inclusive Commonwealth, that won this election.
You can find results in key races in your community right now on NBCWashington.com. Just click on Virginia election results at the top of the page. Well, it is almost time for DC's giant pandas to fly off to China. Our live coverage from Dulles International Airport continues. We're going to hear from one of the biggest panda fans in the district, our own An Yang. But first up, Amelia.
And as the pandas exit our area today, it's much cooler out there than it was yesterday. Currently 59 degrees. Temperatures yesterday hit 76 today. Highs only in the low 60s, but generally mostly sunny skies. I'll have more on the extended forecast after the break.
With unbeatable prices on all the top mattress brands, where would you look to find the perfect mattress? In a little mattress store or mattress warehouse?
Celebrate the holidays the new old-fashioned way in Chester County's Brandywine Valley. Some traditions are timeless. Honor the charms of holidays past without the fruitcake. Memories are made merry and bright in illuminated wonderlands. Stroll charming villages with gifts and treats for kids from 1 to 92. Receive on-time tickets to Longwood Gardens with your stay, just to drive away in the countryside of Philadelphia. Book now at brandywinevalley.com.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, we believe in the healing power of a new smile, the way it makes you look and feel, the way a smile lights up a room, so people can see the best version of you, which is why we make new smiles affordable for everyone, so you don't need to wait another day to get your smile back. Scan the QR code to learn more, or visit affordabledentures.com.
Go ahead and smile. Here's the deal. You can get dirtified, routified, or barbecue by the seaside. Electrified is more than just plugified. Toyota is electrified, diversified, giving you the choice on how to reduce carbon emissions. That's Toyota's Beyond Zero vision.
Now, buy a hybrid RAV4, Camry, or Corolla and get $500 Toyota finance cash.
Toyota, let's go places.
Announcing the Sleep Better Tonight sale at Mattress Warehouse. Save up to 70% on all the top brands in stock and available for next day delivery. So where would you look to find the perfect mattress? In a little mattress store or a mattress warehouse?
Good morning and welcome back on this Wednesday. So out there today, much cooler than yesterday. We go from a high yesterday in the mid 70s to highs today only in the low 60s. So temperatures 15 degrees cooler, and the temperature roller coaster continues tomorrow with near record temperatures out there. Highs tomorrow near 80 degrees. Tomorrow during the evening hours and then during the day on Friday, some isolated, maybe scattered showers are possible, but I'm not tracking much in the way of rain, and we really need the rain. As we head on into the weekend, it is looking dry and cool out there. Now, of course, we haven't had any rainfall in the last 24 hours, but we've had a big temperature drop. Currently, temperatures only in the 50s, 59 here in Washington. Tomorrow, a high of 62. That's actually, I should say today, a high of 62. That's actually seasonable. Our average high now 61 degrees. The weather having a low impact on your Wednesday as we look to Thursday again. Tomorrow, a high of 78, the record 79 degrees. So chilly today, mild, even hot tomorrow. Some scattered showers on Friday. And then for the weekend, highs in the 50s with a mix of clouds and sun both Saturday and Sunday. We're headed to break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Tomorrow, Consumer Reports do's and don'ts for your dishwasher.
There are lots of hacks on social media, but some of them will just ruin your stuff.
5 things you should never put in, even if it says dishwasher safe.
We're working for you tomorrow on News 4 Today.
Is your house less than perfect? I'm Dan from Market Pro Home Buyers, and we want to buy your home. Don't make repairs, don't pay commissions, and don't wait another day. We'll get you the cash you need. No agent fees, no closing costs. We'll even help you pack and move for free. For a no obligation offer, call 301-683-SELL. That's 301-683-7355, or visit marketprohomebuyers.com. We buy houses as is, on your schedule. Call today.
You get more for your money at Thompson Creek.
We do it all. Design, build, and install.
So you won't pay the middleman markup.
It's our Black Friday sale. Buy one window, get one 40% off, plus no interest for 18 months. Call 855-57-CREEK.
UMGC gave me the ability to succeed again. They allowed me to understand my true potential in life and gave me the tools to go get it. I feel I can accomplish anything.
Learn more at umgc.edu.
We've got questions about Medicare plans.
Well, we've got a lot of answers. How can I help?
Well, for starters, do you have a Medicare plan I can actually afford?
How about a plan with a $0 monthly premium?
Well, that's a great start. What other benefits can we get?
Things like dental, vision, and hearing. But let me help you pick the plan that's right for you.
Ooh.
Don't wait. Call 1-800-ETNA for you to get answers to your questions and pick a plan that's right for you. And let's make healthier happen together.
Next, Kelly, say hello to Taylor. Hi, Taylor.
Oh, we have lines.
Taylor Lautner and Taylor Lautner. Plus, magician Aussie Win. I got magic.
Today at 2 on NBC4.
We welcome you back here to our coverage of this final countdown on for the National Zoo's giant pandas. They're getting ready to head back to China.
Yeah, there's the plane right there waiting to load them up. The pandas left the zoo this morning. They're waiting at National Airport to get on board. Our Amy Cho brings us up to date. She is right there, ready for the pandas to get on board. Hey, Amy.
Hey ladies, good morning. Yes, the clock is ticking. Unfortunately, we only have about an hour and a half left until our beloved pandas take off on their 19-hour journey to Chengdu, China. So hard to believe that this day has finally come, that we're having to say goodbye. Now, behind me here is the special Panda Express plane. It is a FedEx plane that is going to carry that precious cargo, as Brad called them, the very important pandas to China. It's going to be loaded with lots of supplies along the way. They're going to have several hundred pounds of bamboos. They will not go hungry. All 3 pandas are going to be in separate crates just to make sure they're not wandering around the plane. Can't have that. They have been getting crate training for the past few weeks or so to make sure that they're comfortable with going into that small enclosed space. We're told it's very comfortable in there. That's what the zookeepers are saying. There are going to be 2 zookeepers as well as a veterinarian on board that plane, so the pandas should be in good hands. Now, yesterday we did get a chance to go by the zoo and catch catch one last glimpse of Mei Xiang, Tian Tian, and Xiao Qiji. They were just doing their thing, so happy, climbing trees, living their best lives, eating treats, taking lots of naps. Lots of people had flocked to the zoo yesterday to be able to say their goodbyes before the pandas leave. So many of us have watched them grow up over the years. Mei Xiang and Tian Tian first got here all the way back in 2000, 23 years ago, and then they've had several babies along the way. Of course, we remember Tai Shan and Bao Bao and Bei Bei, and then Xiao Qiji, who is now 3. So the older ones, Mei Xiang and Tian Tian, they are what we call retirement age, so they're going to be living their best lives over in China. And then their cub, Xiao Qiji, the hope is that in a few years he will be able to enter the breeding program as well and have cubs of his own someday. So the hope is that one day he will be able to be a father. So the expectation has always been that the pandas would go back to China someday. That was always part of the agreement because China does own all of the pandas that are around the world. They have been loaning them out. And this is part of a larger trend that we are seeing around the country. So after these pandas leave the DC area today, get this, the only pandas that are going to be left in the entire U.S. are the ones at the Atlanta Zoo. They have 2 adults and 2 cubs, but those are also scheduled to go back to China sometime next year. So after that, there are going to be no more pandas left in America. It is so sad and hard to believe. I checked the panda webcam this morning at the National Zoo. It was just showing an empty habitat, so heartbreaking, and now it appears those cameras are down because there is nothing more to see. The zoo says that they do plan to make some upgrades to that habitat while the pandas are gone, just in case they are able to get some pandas back in the future. Now, we are standing by getting ready for a press conference that is scheduled to start in just a few minutes now, and we will be sure to bring you that live as soon as it begins. Ladies?
I know it's loud behind you, Amy, but we're still keeping our fingers crossed that we will see pandas come back at some point. Fingers crossed, Amy. Fingers crossed. We'll check back in with you in just a bit.
Yeah, you see they're getting that podium ready,
yeah.
So we'll go back to that news conference when it begins. But the plane that will carry the pandas to China, it landed probably about 2 hours ago or so. It was a 9 o'clock hour when that happened.
And we caught that live as it came in and landed. News 4's Joseph Olmo and photographer Indira Levine brought us that great shot as it was happening. Joseph, once again, live from the elevated view, watching the FedEx plane on the ground, getting ready to load up those pandas. Joseph.
And the crowd just keeps on growing out here. I never thought that the 5th floor of a airport garage would be a popular spot, but it indeed is. There are dozens of people up here getting their last look at these pandas as they're about to board this 777 aircraft. I want to point out specifically one person here. You see Rose here. She's standing through the sunroof of her car. Wave to us, Rose. Hello. Rose has been out here literally for about 6 hours now. She's been here since the crack of dawn. She says she's gone to the National Zoo every day for the past 6 months. Rose is from China. She lives in Maryland right now, and she, like many of us, is going to miss the pandas. So that is why she's standing through her sunroof right now. I don't even know how you have battery on your phone. Oh, I see. You have a charger for your phone. She's been recording live, streaming on social media for hours now, since before the plane even came here. The interest is very, very big here on this garage, including Tommy and Mom Jennifer, who are joining us. They came right from down the street. You guys live in Loudoun County. Tommy, how excited are you to be here today? Look at that cool view of the plane.
So excited.
Yeah? How come? Why'd you come out here?
I came out here to say one final goodbye to the pandas and...
Come on. You really came out here to skip school, Tommy.
Kind of, yeah. I really did want to see the pandas too.
Yeah, no comment. Mom will let you do it for today. Jennifer, how is it here?
It's wonderful. So we actually were all ready to go down to the National Zoo today.
You know what? I'm sorry. I got to go because they have that press conference starting right now, guys. Back to you.
Right. Joseph, thank you so much. Yeah, we do want to get out to Amy Cho at the airport right now. Amy, you've spoken with the pilot. What did the pilot have to say about this great mission to bring the pandas back home to China?
Hi, ladies. Yes, we are joined now by a very special guest, Ron Zampini. He is the pilot that is going to be flying this Panda Express plane. Tell me about that responsibility and what an honor this is to be able to fly the pandas all the way to China.
Yeah, great. It is a huge honor for me personally. It's a huge honor for FedEx to be a part of this.
It's a total team effort from maintenance to ramp personnel to communications, legal. We take great pride in flying these lovable bears back to their homeland.
And tell me about the logistics and the preparation that go into something like this.
Well, the only cargo on board the airplane is going to be 3 pandas and one position for food, water, supplies, treats, whatever they need. We've been prepping for this for months and months, and we're ready to go.
And have you been able to spend some time one-on-one with them, or are you more so just in the cockpit?
I'm up front. I would love to be able to go back and say hello, but I'm focused on flying the airplane.
Makes sense. That's where they need you to be. And
right.
Which one of the pandas is your favorite? Do you have one?
I have the baby. That's my favorite.
And tell me about the endurance that it takes to fly this long. I understand you do have a refueling stop in Alaska.
Right. It's we're gonna fly to Alaska. We're gonna take on gas, be on the ground minimum time, and then press on to Chengdu. Yeah, looking forward to it.
And when you're there, will you be able to spend some time in China, or are you gonna have to turn around and come right back?
We're gonna lay over in China for a day and then head back into the system. This airplane will go back into revenue service as soon as we get back.
And what has been your favorite part of all this?
Just the fact that I get to be a part of the Panda shipment. It's a true honor.
Absolutely. We appreciate you spending some time with us on this very busy morning. Thank you so much, sir, and safe travels to you and the Pandas.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for being here.
That is the very latest from pilot Ron Zampini. He has a very important mission to get to, and we are going to send it back to you in the studio.
He's going to have stories to tell in the future.
You wonder if he won some sort of Employee of the Month contest to get that assignment. That's a good assignment.
Thank you, Amy. We appreciate that.
All right. Well, you know, we continue to watch all the activity there at Dulles International Airport. Of course, the 3 pandas are heading to China. Little information about the pandas who are leaving today.
I know we've got Tian who arrived in 2000, 26 years old. As Amy said, that's kind of senior
Retirement
citizen,
age,
retirement age. The name means more and more.
And then Mei Zhang, who also arrived in 2000, 25 years old. Her name means beautiful fragrance.
Oh, yeah. And then I think my favorite is Xiao Qiji, born in 2020, 3 years old. The name means little miracle. And this panda pair, Tian and Mei Zhang, have given birth to 4 cubs in all at the National Zoo. So they put in some good work.
Yes.
Some good scientific conservation, research, and all of the work that has been done over the decades since they came here.
I know.
And became a national treasure.
And made us all fall in love. And now they're leaving us high and dry. Let's head out to Tommy McFly, who's on. Are you eating a panda cake pop?
I am eating a panda cake pop, yes. We're outside of Big Bayou where they've been doing panda cake pops for like 10 years. Perfect spot because the National Zoo front door is right over there, which I would like to point out to our friends at the zoo. I'm going to send them an invoice because I have told 4 dozen people about the panda news who are going to the zoo to see the pandas today. So I feel like I've been the bearer of bad news for all these folks. And, you know, that's how that goes. But we have so many folks over here who have been bringing gratitude and bringing love. We have our giant goodbye to the pandas card. And folks have been showing up and they've been signing and sending love. We have everything from have fun chilling in China to bye pandas, we'll miss you so much. Tian, we'll miss you so much. Specific favorite panda there. We've got all people checking out. Are these your handprints over here? Are these your handprints?
Yes.
What is his name?
This is Judah, and he's saying goodbye to the pandas.
Aw, Judah saying goodbye to the pandas. Thanks, Judah. We got the hand sketch getting so creative, and we'll be out here all afternoon through News 4, 5, and 6. And it's just a great way. The communities really come together, which I know you'll love, Millette. Everyone is just like taking a moment and reflecting on their panda journey, because we all have different panda journeys, but we've all been brought to the same spot, this clock tower in Northwest DC.
Yeah, in many ways, the pandas have brought us all together, brought us closer, made us kinder, all of those good things.
Yeah.
You know? All right. I mean, you did make the one little boy cry.
And they're delicious.
You did make the one little boy cry.
Poor Frankie.
I mean, I didn't. The FedEx truck made the little boy cry. I was there with a cake pop and a I don't know. You know, sorry, Frankie.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you.
We'll check back in just a little bit, see how you're faring out there at the message board and what other desserts he can pick up from the bakery. As we continue to follow the farewell to our 3 pandas, there, has been joy and sadness during their history at the National Zoo.
Yeah, Ling Ling gave birth to the first panda cub born in the United States. This was back in 1983. Here's a look back.
At the National Zoo, and as they grew, breeding became a top priority. There were false alarms.
One of the keepers observed what they thought might have been a pile of bamboo, which was arranged in the shape of a nest.
By 1980, the pandas should have been parents, but Ching Ching, the male, was saying no. In 1981, a male from London, Cha Cha, was brought in to help, but Ling Ling said to Cha Cha. Through the fruitless years, panda mania grew, the masses waiting anxiously last year as the zoo tried artificial insemination, and nothing happened.
This is the backyard of the Panda House here at the National Zoo. It was almost 4 months ago to the day on a rainy, blustery March Friday that we were standing here witnessing what zoo officials believed was the first successful mating between Ling Ling and Xing Xing. Back then, even after artificial insemination 3 days later, zoo officials weren't sure that Ling Ling was pregnant. They weren't really sure until very early this morning. It wasn't until 3:18 this morning, as a matter of fact, that zoo officials became certain. At that time, Ling Ling gave birth. At a news conference, they made available and played a videotape of the night's events. Early in the evening, Ling Ling could be seen continuing what seemed like nesting preparations, growing more restless and more vocal. Then later, as she lay on her back, contractions could be seen. Then, to the surprise of the observers, and so quickly that if you blinked, you'd miss it, she delivered the baby. Eventually, it started squirming and squealing and trying to get up on its front paws. Ling Ling, very naturally, picked it up in her mouth, and zoo officials were impressed with her maternal instincts.
Her behavior with the young during the 3 hours that the young was alive was very attentive and as appropriately maternal as we could imagine it would be.
It was about 6:30 a.m. that observers noticed that the baby cub had stopped moving and breathing. It had died. Officials don't know why. Although saddened by the cub's death, officials are optimistic that Ling Ling will give birth again. They now know that she can become pregnant and has now experienced birth and mothering. They and she will try again next spring.
All right, I think the news conference is starting right now at the airport. Let's go ahead and check in to see what officials there are saying.
A special welcome to Congressman Steve Cohen, who represents FedEx's hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, and Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher of Texas. Thank you both for taking the time to be here today. I also want to welcome Brandy Smith, who is the director of the Smithsonian's National Zoo, and her colleagues, loyal FedEx customers and employees here today, and you, the media. More than 20 years ago, FedEx brought Mei Xiang and Tian Tian here to the Smithsonian's National Zoo from China. Since then, these giant pandas have become incredibly beloved by Washington, D.C. locals and millions of people across the United States and around the world who have visited them or followed along through the zoo's giant panda camp. We are once again honored to be a part of their journey, this time back to their homeland with their cub, Xiao Shi Ji. Earlier today, this FedEx Express Boeing 777, unmistakably known as the FedEx Panda Express, departed our global headquarters city of Memphis, Tennessee, and arrived here at Dulles International Airport to pick up our precious cargo. This flight is solely dedicated to the pandas, who will soon board the aircraft in the custom-built transport enclosures. With their first-class tickets on this flight, the pandas will be able to move about the enclosures, eat bamboo, and play with their toys in complete comfort under the constant supervision of the zoo's animal care experts. This is the 10th time the FedEx Panda Express has been called into service to deliver the giant panda around the world. Each move brings us a great amount of joy and pride as our team members for being able to actively support the preservation of this amazing, vulnerable species. With our team's unmatched experience and the steps that we've taken to ensure the panda's safety and comfort, I have the utmost confidence that this will be a smooth 19-hour journey to Chengdu. Now I'd like to invite Brandy Smith, Director of the Smithsonian's National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute, to the podium.
Gina, thank you so much. Thank you to FedEx. Thank you to our members of Congress who are here. And thank you to all of you for being here. The question I have been asked most in the past few weeks is, are you sad? And the answer is a very simple yes. The keepers and I, the team, have had several moments over the past few days to reflect on the program that we have, the successes that we have with pandas as a species and with these individual animals. So we have been with Meishang and Tian for more than 2 decades and celebrating the joy of all of their cubs, Taishan, Bao Bao, Bei, and now Xiao Qiji. It is a moment with some heartbreak in it. But it is also a moment of joy because we are celebrating the success of the world's longest running conservation program for a single species. In the more than 50 years that we have been working with these animals, giant pandas have been moved off the endangered species list. So, yeah, thank you. So, so this to me is it's not the end. It is just one more step in this incredible program. And one of the things I'm most proud of is the partners that we have made along the way, because it truly takes a village to save a species. Our partners in China, the Chinese Center for Conservation and Research for Giant Pandas, have been just phenomenal partnership to work with, learning to care for these species and saving them in the wild. And today, especially, I am grateful for our partners at FedEx. It has truly been a collaborative effort. We are moving 3 dangerous carnivores halfway across the planet, and there is zero margin for error. And so today has been every step that we've been taking working with them as a team. I'm absolutely confident that our pandas will travel to China in luxury and style with every treat available to them. And because I am an optimist, when you work with giant pandas, you have to be an optimist. I will also say with hope as I look forward to welcoming you all here sometime soon again as we celebrate the return of giant pandas to Smithsonian's National Zoo. Thank you.
Brandy, thank you so much for allowing FedEx to be included on this adventure. So at this time, let's prepare to bid a fond farewell to Meishang, Tian, and Xiao Qiji, and wish everyone aboard the FedEx Panda Express safe travels to China. We look forward to hearing about their arrival tomorrow. Thank you all for being here.
We've been watching this brief news conference here. You saw FedEx Vice President of Government Affairs, Gina Adams, kind of leading the speeches this morning. And then we heard, of course, from the National Zoo. But, you know, between FedEx, the zoo, even the congressman who represents Memphis, Tennessee, where FedEx is, Steve Cohen, all there, it's really just an emotional moment for everyone.
It really is. And we heard the zoo director talk about the heartbreak and the joy part of this effort, this massive effort, and the decades of work that was put in on this end, and now, of course, the collaboration continues and transfers to the partners there in China. I mean, and then she is not shutting the door on the habitat at the National Zoo. Of course, we heard her talk about the hope for the return of pandas to the National Zoo, which, you know, it's going to be a really different zoo experience now at the National Zoo. It's a beautiful place to visit all year round. I'd like to visit in the warm climate.
Yes.
But as we await those 3 crates to get on board the FedEx Express plane there, it's really the end of an era. It's the end of an era here.
Yeah, and hopefully more pandas to come and more pandas after that. And then now, as you heard the zoo director say, they're not endangered anymore. And that is the purpose of this program, is to increase those numbers both in the wild and at conservation centers like the Smithsonian National Zoo.
She kind of put them on
she put a little bug in the ear.
She put a little bug in the ear, and then she said, look, listen, 0 margin for error, so the pressure is on. They're going to have a beautiful flight. They're going to have all of the comforts right there, and they have done the good work and the long preparation to get them ready for this kind of a trip.
Yes.
It's a long journey.
It is a long journey, 19 hours, that 777 jet. Let's get over to Joseph Olmo, who is live there at Dulles International Airport with more on what's going on there. And I mean, we expect within the next hour or so, Joseph, that the plane will take off.
Yeah, that is the goal right now. They say 1 p.m. You know, we're still waiting, of course, for the pandas to be loaded onto that FedEx Boeing 777 freighter, which is right there behind me. I'll step out of the way so we can get a better look at it. Again, 1 p.m. is the takeoff time right now. And, you know, you mentioned it. This is a 19-hour flight. 19-hour flight for humans is a lot to stomach. How about for these 3 giant pandas? Well, we are told that the zoo staff are going to be traveling with about 220 pounds of bamboo, 8 pounds of leaf eater biscuits, 5 pounds of low starch biscuits, 6 pounds of apples, 5 pounds of carrots, 6 pounds of sweet potatoes, 3 pounds of sugar cane, 1 pound of pears, and 1 pound of cooked squash. I think they also forgot to say a partridge in a pear tree as well. But yeah, so it's going to be a long flight. They're going to have that fueling stop in Alaska. And right now, those final preparations, guys, because those pandas are leaving the DMV and we do not know if or when they are coming back. We have our eyes on that FedEx plane, and once it starts taxiing down the runway, you'll see it live right here on News 4. We'll bring those images to you. I mentioned just a couple moments ago, there were literally dozens of people out here who have been here for hours with their big cameras, folks skipping elementary school to be here. But it's a big deal because it's not every day that you see a plane like this and an operation like this at Dulles. I'm getting some word here that we have crates behind us right now. If we can zoom in there, guys, that would be a big help.
Yeah, Joseph, we have our aerial shot there showing 2 of the crates.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see it from my vantage point here, but okay.
Or is that all 3? That's all 3.
Yeah, I see them. There they go.
Just 2.
We have 2. And maybe.
Yes, I see the 2 right there. Okay.
And maybe that's Tian Tian and Mei Zhang, since they're the parents, the older ones. Maybe they're going on first. But Amy Cho, you're on the ground there. You see the crates. Bring us up to speed from your vantage point.
Hey guys, yes, I'm standing out of the way so as not to block people's shots, but there they are, 2 crates. Not quite sure which pandas are in those 2 crates, but there they are. It looks like they're getting ready to be loaded onto the aircraft. I believe that Xiao Qiji and Tian Tian are the first ones getting loaded. There they are. We can't really catch a glimpse of them, unfortunately. Of course, they do have air holes so that the pandas can breathe while they're in there. We know that they have toys and treats loaded up for the ride. There they are. The crates getting ready to be loaded onto the Panda Express FedEx plane. This moment we've known has been coming for some time, but that does not make it any easier to say goodbye to our beloved DC pandas. Truly the end of an era. Mei Xiang and Tian Tian first got here 23 years ago. So this will be the first time in DC that we have not had pandas in 23 years. There it goes, the first crate coming off of the truck there, going up. It's going to be lifted into the back of the plane there, it looks like. Again, I think the first one is Xiao Qiji. That's the little one, the 3-year-old, the cub that was born during COVID. So many of us watched him grow up on that Panda webcam over the years. He just started out as a tiny stick of butter, and now here he is. One of the zookeepers said, even though he's only 3, he's basically like a college-age kid. In Panda years, 3 is, a little bit older. So he is ready to strike off on his own in a few years. The hope is that he will enter the breeding program in China and hopefully become a father of his own and have some cubs of his own someday. There he is in that crate over there. Again, wish we could catch a glimpse of him, but unfortunately the crate is sealed up over there, but the crate getting ready to be loaded into the back of the plane. I still don't see the 3rd crate. I think they're still bringing that one around, but that is what we are seeing on the ground here right now. Such a somber moment, bittersweet for sure. We obviously are wishing them all the best. They have a long 19-hour journey ahead. They are going to stop and have a quick layover in Alaska to refuel, but it's 19 hours and they're going to be on their way to Chengdu, China. They're scheduled to land sometime tomorrow morning. FedEx has promised to put out pictures so we can see how they fare on their long journey with all of their bamboo and all of those other sweet treats that Joseph was just mentioning there earlier. But there it is, our final moments with our beloved pandas. They're getting lifted into the plane.
Pretty
it's
easy
just
process.
so sad to see them go.
Yeah.
So many people have loved them.
Wow. I mean, they've done this before, Amy, and it's a pretty seamless process. As we're watching this live here on News 4, you see the first 2 crates carrying giant pandas as they are heading in to that FedEx 777 cargo plane, affectionately dubbed the Panda Express, made its way from FedEx headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee, landing at Dulles International Airport just after 9 o'clock this morning. And now we see that it's doing what it was supposed to do.
Exactly. And we heard from Gina Adams, the FedEx corporate VP, tell us this is the 10th time the FedEx Panda Express has been called into service, and all expectations for a smooth journey to China there. So we're just seeing the 2 crates loaded up. We're waiting on the 3rd. Any sight, any view of the 3rd crate from your vantage point there, Amy?
Not yet. It's kind of hard to see. There are a lot of people out here, but we're keeping an eye out for that 3rd crate. They're still in the process of getting the 2nd one off the forklift onto the back of the plane there. Again, it's so emotional, really, just to see these beloved pandas heading off to their new home in China after so many years. They have captured everyone's hearts here in DC, and we are just so sad to see them go. But again, as we've been mentioning, it is a big success in that pandas have come a long ways. They're no longer considered endangered as of the past few years, so that is awesome, thanks to the breeding program. And Mei Xiang and Tian Tian are going to go off and enjoy a nice retirement, as the zookeepers call it. They're going to be living their best lives. They'll be at a panda base with many others. Oh, I think I see the 3rd crate coming around here. It's on the left. They're bringing it around. You can't see it right now, but I do see them. The truck is coming with that 3rd crate, the 3rd and final panda, going to be leaving just in a few moments here now. Truly, end of an era for DC.
And you talk about how emotional this is for so many people here. For the pandas, though, they have done a lot of work at the zoo to get them ready for this process, Amy, to be inside that crate and to be comfortable and to feel like at home as much as possible as they are on this flight, right?
Oh. Exactly. Up there it is. There is the third and final crate. You can see it right in front of you. There's kind of a little window. I'm trying to catch a glimpse. Oh, there's his face. Oh, man.
Oh my gosh.
Can you see it,
Look,
you guys?
it's saying goodbye.
Oh, my gosh. It's peering out.
That's precious.
Oh, peeking out. Oh, man.
Oh.
You guys, that might be the final glimpse we catch of our beloved pandas on the ground here in the DC area, just bidding us one final farewell after all those years of joy and cuddles and treats and climbing trees and naps. This is it. We're trying to see if we can catch another glimpse, if maybe that panda will come to the window again and wave for us one more time.
Oh, that was
but yeah, it has just been
awesome.
such an emotional day. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Oh, that was so cute. Oh my gosh, my heart is full. But yeah, what a beautiful, but also bittersweet moment. The pandas have a 19-hour flight ahead. And yeah, like Millette was just saying earlier, the pandas have been training for weeks now to be comfortable in those crates. And the zookeepers say the crates actually are very comfortable. The pandas actually didn't even want to come out at times. They had to be bribed with treats to come out. So we can rest assured, according to the zookeepers, that they're living their best lives in the crates. They're not cramped or anything like that. They're going to have plenty of treats, bamboo, sweet potatoes, that sort of thing. They'll have toys along the way. There are 2 zookeepers as well as a veterinarian on board, so they should be in good hands. And as we just heard a short time ago, this is the 10th time that FedEx has shipped a panda to China, so they know what they're doing. They have this down to a science. It's a well-oiled machine at this point. We see that second crate is still right outside the plane there, about to be loaded into the back at any moment. And then we have the third crate there as well. They're getting ready to lift that crate up so that it can be loaded onto the plane as well. But we are just all so sad to see these furry friends go, but we wish them all the best in their journey.
We really do, Amy. And I gotta say, I mean, you know, between the zoo and FedEx, we've kind of had a schedule of how things are supposed to go today.
Yeah.
And they're right on time. In terms of, they told us around noon the pandas were going to be lifted onto the plane.
Very true.
And it's 12:06. So they're running right on schedule. And if they continue on this schedule, in less than an hour, we should see that plane start to take its way down the runway and lift into the skies on the way to Alaska. I mean, what a moment. Who knew that the last panda was going to just kind of stick his face there to the window?
That was the shot. That was the shot.
Yes.
And then you heard the emotion in Amy's voice there. We've been watching from the ground, from the air. Brad Freitas is in Chopper 4, and he will have that spectacular view as well of these final moments that we have with our beloved National Zoo pandas. Brad, are you there? We're not really hearing Brad well. We'll try to work on his audio there as we continue to watch the farewell here at Dulles International Airport. Look at the crowd there as well, watching this farewell, Jumi.
And we're wondering if this last kind of crate that's being loaded on there maybe has some of the supplies for the pandas. We know they're going with hundreds of pounds of food, bamboo, all the different treats. And so that last white crate you can see there, that's going in. And then we've got that silver crate that has FedEx with the numbers on the back. And that probably has some supplies for the long trip as well. But, oh, what a sight.
Yeah, my heart kind of tugged a little bit when we saw the last crate with the face of the panda. We want to say the panda was saying goodbye. I love you. I love you, D.C. I love you, Washington. Thank you for everything.
We'll be back at some point. Maybe not us, but somebody will be back. But let's head back to Brad Freitas in Chopper 4. I think we fixed his microphone there, and we can check in with what things are looking like from up above. Thanks for these great shots, Brad.
Well, it's been an amazing view of a very calculated transport, and I will say we didn't get quite as good of a view as Amy Cho did of that one final wave through the window there. That was incredible. We just kind of saw a flash of it from up here, but just to go off of what Jimmy was talking about earlier, the calculated moves that they've been making to transport these very important pandas from the National Zoo here to Dulles Airport has just been incredible. You know, oftentimes when we're doing some sort of a transport like this or a motorcade, things happen, traffic, you know, wrong turns, things like that, but they have been right on schedule, and as they brought these pandas out to get into the jet right at noon, we're getting a great view and a final farewell to our beloved pandas. Watching from above, this is Brad Freitas reporting live from Chopper 4. Guys?
Thank you so much, Brad. As we continue to watch this, these final moments with the giant pandas, they're all loaded up now, and they're going in, and pretty soon this plane is going to take off. The giant pandas, the good news that we heard today, no longer in danger, but still considered at risk.
Yes, that's why these programs are so important. We have Jeanette Hemley, Senior Vice President of Wildlife Conservation, joining us this morning with an insight to the panda program here in the U.S. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we've all been watching this all morning long, and we know now that our 3 pandas are heading to China. Atlanta Zoo will now be the only zoo in the U.S. with pandas. Do you see that changing at all?
Well, thank you for having me. And indeed, it's been such a touching morning. You know, these panda loan programs that the National Zoo has been part of, that the Atlanta Zoo is part of, have been so important for panda conservation. And as referenced earlier, pandas are no longer considered endangered internationally. They are still a very rare species and one that is at risk, and that's why they are a conservation priority. We certainly hope that the good work that's been going on for the last several decades between the zoos here in the U.S. and our Chinese counterparts can continue, and that we may see pandas back again in Washington in the near future. But the good news in all of this is that they have made a major contribution to improving the status of pandas in the wild. Their numbers have gone up. There are more panda reserves than ever before. And so we are very hopeful about the panda's future.
We heard the zoo director talk about this being the longest conservation program. Let's talk about that and dig a little deeper into the loan program with China, helping with these conservation efforts for the pandas.
So the loan program has been underway for 25 years or more under the current policy of the U.S. government that requires these loans to contribute directly to conservation in the wild. Funding goes directly to China from the National Zoo and the other zoos who've had pandas. That has allowed China to expand panda habitat protection and conduct really important research in the wild. And that long-term nature has really given us critical insights into how pandas breed, what they need to survive ecologically in the wild. And that is why we are seeing an improvement of their status. And so keeping those efforts going, even without pandas here, we hope those collaborations will continue because these are such a precious species and so unique. And we have such a great record of progress that we want to continue to build on collectively.
Yeah, you know, we know that the pandas that are right now at the Atlanta Zoo are supposed to leave and go back to China at some point next year, and then we won't have any here in the U.S. If China decides to do another kind of diplomatic deal with the U.S., in your professional opinion, what are the chances that we would see pandas again here in D.C.? I mean, we have the infrastructure. You know, they've been here off and on since the 70s. Do you think that there's a good chance we could see them back here in the nation's capital?
I would certainly hope so. Again, I think the record of progress and success and the great scientific collaboration and conservation collaboration, I think is something that we obviously in the conservation community are incredibly proud of. China, I hope, is incredibly proud of. So I do hope that is the case. And, you know, it's something that China, I think, holds up and can, shares with the world as one of the true conservation success stories for an endangered species. And I would certainly hope that we would all see that continue.
Just from a human perspective, what would you say the impact having these beautiful creatures here in this country, here at the National Zoo and at the other zoos, has been for just community and a collective love of appreciating endangered species and just animals at the National Zoo and other zoos across the country?
Well, you know, we've really never seen anything quite like it. There's really nothing like the giant panda to attract people, to want to know more about the endangered species itself, to want to understand, you know, what's happening with its conservation. The zoo visitorship, you know, has always gone up everywhere we've had pandas in the United States, and that I think has really added to a real increase in awareness and support for conservation. Because ultimately, we want to see pandas succeed in captivity and breed well in captivity, but it also has contributed to really an appreciation for the importance of pandas in the wild. And in fact, pandas live in one of the most biologically diverse forests in the world, temperate forests in the world, and they're a symbol not only of an endangered species, but of incredibly rich ecosystem. And that is something that we've seen appreciation for grow. And so it's really, really been a wonderful run for us here with pandas in the National Zoo.
Yeah, and we know that obviously we know the pandas in captivity at the zoo, even though it's a great educational program, a program that helps with breeding and the conservation of the animals. But when it comes to the pandas in the wild, what's the biggest kind of factor into increasing the numbers in the wild as well?
Well, the biggest threat has been habitat loss and the loss of forests that pandas need to survive. But the trends have changed in the good direction in China in recent years. There is more forest cover for pandas. There are more panda reserves, in fact, triple the number we had 30 years ago. So that's all a good thing. China also has imposed a ban on logging, which has helped preserve those precious forests. And connecting those panda reserves with habitat and forest restoration is important. In the long term, we have to worry about climate change and the impact of climate change, particularly on the panda's main food source, which is bamboo, which goes through certain cycles of reproduction. And so that's another area of research that is so important as part of these conservation collaborations to help us understand how we can protect pandas from climate change impacts over the long term.
Yeah, well, we appreciate all of you who are working in this space and doing so much to increase the numbers and educate the rest of us. Jeanette Hemley, Senior Vice President of Wildlife Conservation, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to our Amy Cho, who has pretty much the best seat in the house. She is up close and personal, or as personal as she can get from the vantage point there on the ground, watching those 3 crates enter the FedEx plane there. Amy, and then I want you to talk about seeing the one panda's face as the last crate was going by you. Talk about that.
You guys, I still have chills. I mean, I can't even put into words how incredible and breathtaking it was to be able to see this up close. I mean, truly, what an honor to be able to watch those 3 panda crates being loaded onto the plane. I believe Xiao Qiji, the baby, was first, followed by Tian Tian and then Mei Xiang bringing up the rear. I believe we have video from just moments ago when Mei Xiang came to the window and was waving goodbye to all of DC as if to say one final farewell. It was just truly the most beautiful moment, so sweet, such a fitting end for a beautiful stay in DC, capturing the hearts of so many. We know that all 3 of those crates have now been loaded onto the plane, as well as what looked to be a crate full of supplies. We know they need lots of bamboo and toys and other treats for their journey. It appears they are pretty much done with the loading, I think. They had put the 3 crates onto the back of the plane over there. I saw at least one of the crates go towards the left, so maybe a little bit more towards the front of the plane. But this is a private plane. The pandas have the entire space to themselves, so they'll have lots of room to stretch, hopefully. They have multiple zookeepers as well as a veterinarian on board, but it looks like they are wrapping up with the process of loading everything onto that Panda Express FedEx plane. But truly, what a moment to witness and be a part of. I'm so honored, and it's so hard to say goodbye, but we know that all 3 of them are headed off to wonderful lives. They're going to be around other pandas in China. And we also just heard a short time ago from the director of the Smithsonian National Zoo, who says it is heartbreaking to say goodbye. Take a listen.
I've been with Mei Xiang and Tian Tian for more than 2 decades, and celebrating the joy of all of their cubs, Taishan, Bao Bao, Bei Bei, and now Xiao Qiji. It is a moment with some heartbreak in it. But it is also a moment of joy because we are celebrating the success of the world's longest running conservation program for a single species.
And the director did also say she is staying hopeful. She is not giving up hope that maybe one day in the future we can all gather here again at Dulles International Airport to welcome new pandas back on another FedEx Panda Express plane. She says that is the hope someday, and we of course are also hoping that we will see pandas here in the DC area once more. Back to you.
It's been a full circle moment. You were at the zoo yesterday on the last day that visitors got to see the pandas at the habitat, and now you're here watching this final farewell. Just pretty incredible. We'll check back in with you in just a bit, Amy, as we wait for this plane to take off.
I think it was her headband. That's why Mei Zhang had to.
The headband.
She was like, "Now where'd she get that headband?"
And an attachment on her microphone as well. She's
Amy chose the
covered
best.
in panda.
It's just the best. All right, let's get over to another one of our great reporters out there at the airport. News 4's Joseph Olmo is live at a bit of a higher vantage point with all the folks who are there to take pictures and paid all that money to park on the 5th floor of that garage, Joseph.
Yeah, it's emotional out here, right? Because nobody really expected this news to break, and then it just came seemingly out of nowhere. I do want to point out real quick, I couldn't hear 100% what everybody was saying a couple seconds ago, but the cargo door of that Boeing 777 has now closed. I'm going to ask Indira to zoom in on it there. I believe the only thing that we see that's open right now is one of the doors at the very front of the plane, the nose of that aircraft. That cargo door closing gives us the indication that the 1 p.m. takeoff time that we have set for this aircraft could actually be happening on time. We're just, 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away from this happening. Now I want to pan a little bit closer over to the right here just to show again. Some people, I don't know how their arms aren't falling off. They've had their iPhones out for such a long time, fixated on that plane. They are not moving an inch because this is something, of course, that we don't see every day. We know that there's been 10 flights over the past couple of decades, moving 15 pandas, FedEx has told us. So it has happened before. Of course, it does not happen every day here at Dulles International Airport. And of course, that FedEx plane looking a little bit different than most because it's got a giant panda right next to the FedEx logo. Takeoff time here at 1 p.m. And again, you see that cargo door on that Boeing 777 freighter aircraft has closed. So we are getting closer and closer. And I've been saying now for quite a while that we are going to bring every last little moment here. We got a chopper flying up in the sky, and we're here right on top of this garage, and we're going to show you this plane as it takes off, wheels up out of Dulles International Airport. Back to you, Jumi Millette.
Our team coverage continues. Thank you so much, Joseph. We'll check back in just a bit. The emotions really started at the National Zoo when the 3 FedEx trucks left the gates onto Connecticut Avenue. You know, that was a pretty incredible scene and moment with the crowd there.
Oh, little Frankie, we all remember him. I mean, the tears started immediately. Someone else who was a bit sad about all of this that's been going on today, our Tommy McFly, who is live on Connecticut Avenue. Tommy, I know you have to put the sunglasses on because your eyes are red from all the tears.
That's what it is. I just checked. They really are gone. I just went inside. It's true. It really happened. And we've been out here all day as people are showing up because they planned to go to the zoo to see the pandas today. And they were like, hey, you got any pandas in there? And they were like, nope, you missed them this morning. So that's one thing that's going on. And we've also got just folks who are hearing the news, watching Channel 4, seeing it online, and they're just showing up to kind of check it out and be part of it all today. Now, as the street crosses, I'm going to cross safely because I want to show you our giant panda farewell card we've got set up here, right across from the National Zoo main entrance, right by Baked by Yael's and Duke's Counter. This is where we've wrapped the clock tower, and people have been stopping by all day and signing and leaving a note to the pandas, and we're thinking to the zookeepers too. Maybe we'll deliver these to the panda zookeepers after today to show them what the community really thinks and how they feel about these pandas and the work that's been done here over the last 5 decades. Now, I would be remiss if I did not remind you that though the pandas are gone, there is still a perfectly lovable, fantastic animal for you to check out at the National Zoo. And that would be the champion of our DC's Next Animal Obsession, who beat out 16 other animals to be the next into the spotlight. I just want to stop for a second and remind you all about Basil, the one-eyed rescue possum from Virginia.
Basil is a really sweet boy. He loves his treats. He is getting adjusted really well to being at the zoo, and he really enjoys keeper interaction. He is a unique and special possum. We're really excited that someone was able to catch him just in time, and they were able to save him at City Wildlife so that he could come and live his days here with us. He's a really great representation for our local wildlife. We've got a lot of phenomenal exotic wildlife at the National Zoo, but it's fun to have some native species as well.
We'll let Jimmy, I'm sure you've got thoughts on Basil, the one-eyed possum, but I'm just saying in Small Mammal House, that's a great option. A lot of great zoo animals still here, and as you can see from the 4 sides of our giant card all the way around here, we are just, getting a lot of notes and getting people sharing their thoughts. Best neighbors ever, I love you pandas. It's all happening. Some Chinese, all in English. Forever DC resident. There's just so much cool art. We're going to be out here all afternoon, too, through News 4 at 4 and 5 and 6, giving people a chance to write down their thoughts and spread some love for those pandas as we were watching them the last minutes that they are on American soil. Back to you guys.
All right, our thanks to Tommy for that one. I mean, it's a beautiful day for folks to go to the zoo. I know a lot of people are showing up. They thought they were going to see the pandas, they're not there, but there's still it's beautiful weather out there to see everything else at the zoo.
And it's beautiful inside the National Zoo, and that's where we find our Juliana Valencia, who is right next to the panda habitat. How's it going?
The now empty panda habitat.
Yes.
A lot of folks they've been walking by and they are so distraught. They come up and they're like, wait, the pandas, they're gone? I missed them? And it is sad. We had a family just now walk by from Northern California. They planned their trip. They arrived today to see the pandas, and unfortunately just a day too late. Take a look. So here in that panda enclosure, the first sign people are going to see, it says, "Thanks for your support and interest in our giant panda program. Our 3 giant pandas are now living in China. Granted, they're still at Dulles right now, but they will be soon on that journey over to China." And then after those signs, you see there this large habitat now empty, no longer with our 3 friends. And there was a big process to get these pandas from the zoo over into these crates, into the FedEx truck to Dulles. So look at this video we're showing you right here. It's showing you these crates. The pandas, they're able to move around in them. They're large enough to let them move around. Unfortunately, those little breathing holes, you can't really see inside, but pandas are in there. First we had Mei Shan go out, Mom Mei Shan, then you had Dad Tian Tian walk out, and then the last crate to be lifted out on that forklift was of baby cub Xiao Qi Ji. After that, we got them on those FedEx trucks that are specially marked as they pulled out onto Connecticut Avenue. So if you were out and about this morning, maybe you were able to catch a glimpse of those trucks on their way to Dulles. And there was a process here in getting these pandas ready. They were actually participating in training exercises for the last couple of weeks to help them get comfortable getting in and out and staying in them. They would get treats like honey-flavored water after completing that. And for their journey, they're leaving with 20,000 pounds of bamboo, so they won't go hungry. And they also have 2 zoo staff keepers with them, as well as a veterinarian, in order to keep comfort in that 19-hour journey. But I was talking to the zoo director, and she was saying the pandas did not seem stressed as they were getting into those crates this morning. It was more emotional for the staff. I know I've talked about this, Jimmy and Millette, this morning, but it was just so moving to see that moment right after Xiao Qi Ji is put onto the FedEx truck. Then you have this moment here where you have a staff member embracing the other staff member in tears, just so sad, because many have seen the pandas being born. They've worked with them for the last 20 to 30 years. So this is a very emotional time for the staff and also for the people who have come here who have grown up with the pandas, expect them to be here. But there are other animals at the zoo. The red pandas are still here. We got our one-eyed possum Basil, so there are other animals to see here. But again, Mullet and Jumi, just a sad process here, but we wish them well as they start their journey to China.
We certainly do, and we know the habitat will undergo some renovations, $2.1 million, I believe, and get it ready for possibly more pandas. The fingers are still crossed. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah, they're optimistic they'll come back.
They very much are. Thank you so much, Juliana. We appreciate it.
Well, we've been seeing just from the start to almost the end here, and our Chopper 4 has been up above following those custom 800-pound crates as they were loaded onto the plane after that drive down the Dulles Toll Road. Let's check in with Brad Freitas up above right now with the latest on what he's seeing. Brad.
Quite a production getting these 3 pandas out to Dulles Airport, and it's really starting to set in now that we're seeing that cargo door shutting and they're starting to button up the aircraft, getting ready for takeoff. It's still going to take about 15 to 30 minutes before this aircraft is in the air. The pilots need to file their international flight plan and make sure that everybody is good to go before they go wheels up. So we're going to continue to follow from above. We still have that front door open, and it looks like the pilots are getting into position to start the aircraft. They've disconnected what's called the APU, which runs the aircraft on the ground before the engines start providing electricity to the systems in there. So we still have some time with these pandas on American soil. We're going to continue to enjoy them even though that cargo door is shut. Looks like this is really going to happen, guys, unfortunately. So we're going to have to watch as this plane leaves from above. We'll give them a wave from up here in Chopper 4. This is Brad Freitas reporting live. Guys, back down to you.
And then again, the best shot in all of this today was the third and final crate.
Beijing.
And the beautiful face right there saying, goodbye, Washington. Thank you for everything. I'm speaking for him.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is a special plane, special cargo on the plane, but if you think about it in terms of a passenger plane we would take 30 minutes before takeoff, that's when we're boarding, the cabin doors close, the pilot, they're doing all the announcements and you're setting in, and so we do expect them to take off in the next 30 minutes, and it's a beautiful day.
Perfect day. The weather
to fly from Dulles.
It's just fantastic, Amelia.
Thank you for the beautiful day.
I mean, it really is perfect weather for the pandas to leave as far as the flight goes. I love that Amy was able to talk to the pilot and kind of get some insight. I want to know, like you said, Jumi, did he get Employee of the Month? Did he put in for it? I mean, and I love Joseph's insight, Joseph Olmo, as to what kind of airplane it is. I mean, that came from Tennessee, I think, the headquarters, and, made its way into our area for this special flight. And the weather, I mean, it is ideal. It's a little crisp out there. We're tracking generally light winds. Now it's much cooler out there today than it was yesterday. I'm not a panda, obviously, but I think if I was a bear and had a fur coat on, I would not want temperatures in the 70s sitting on an aircraft, although I'm sure they have the air conditioning already going there. But again, your weather headlines out there, it's going to be much cooler today overall. But then we warm right back up tomorrow with near record temperatures, highs tomorrow near 80 degrees. So can you imagine this event happening tomorrow when it's feeling more like early September rather than early November out there? I'm sure it would change things quite a bit. So the weather having a very low impact on the pandas departing our area today. A few showers are possible out there tomorrow afternoon and again on Friday, but I'm not tracking a lot of rain, and the weekend right now is looking dry and cool. But talking about our temperature change from yesterday to today, compared to this time yesterday, we're anywhere from almost 10 to 20 degrees cooler out there. Our high temperature yesterday, 76. Right now, our temperatures are in the 50s and low 60s, 60 in Washington, as well as Gaithersburg, 57 in Frederick, 58 in Clinton, Maryland, a high temperature today of 62 degrees. So that's seasonable for this time of year with plenty of sunshine. The weather having a low impact not only on the pandas' departure, but whatever your plans may be this afternoon and evening as well. But yesterday evening was so mild. Definitely going to be chilly out there this evening. But again, as cool as today is tomorrow, well, our temperatures, they go up in a really big way. We're starting off in the 50s, a high temperature of 78 degrees, which will hit at about 2, 3 p.m. And then heading on into the evening hours on your Thursday, it is looking really mild out there. So tomorrow, perfect for getting outdoors, whether you're getting exercise in, you're having happy hour, just walking the dog, the kids' after school activities, the weather having a low impact on your Thursday. But then we cool things back off Friday on into Saturday. And remember, Friday, it's not just cool out there, but some scattered showers as well. As a cold front moves through the area, bringing us breezy winds and plenty of clouds. As we head on into Saturday, a high temperature of 58 degrees, which is a few degrees below normal. Our average high in the low 60s. A little bit cooler out there on Sunday with a high temperature of 56, but we're looking at a pretty quiet weekend. As we look to next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're keeping things dry with generally a warming trend. We start off Monday and Tuesday, temperatures in the mid to upper 50s, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, temperatures warming into the 60s. We're actually near 70 degrees by next Friday with a chance for some showers. Millette and Jimmy, I have to say, I'm looking behind you on the monitor at Juliana's live shot. It looks so pretty at the zoo today, but it is, you know, so sad to see it blocked off now with the fencing there, the panda exhibit closed. Yeah, there you see. I mean, but what a nice day to head to our zoo. Now we have Basil that we can look forward to as the crown jewel of the zoo, the one-eyed possum there. But yeah, just folks milling around today at the zoo. At least they have nice weather, despite the fact that, you know, no pandas to see. I have to say, though, being a mom at this point, if you're going to the zoo at 12:30 expecting to see the pandas, they've kind of quieted down. In fact, most of the animals have. The time to go to the zoo is during the morning hours, right when it opens. That's when the animals are the most active out there, and I know Anna always gives that piece of advice as well. But as far as our weather is concerned, we're looking at pretty quiet weather the next 10 days, just a little bit of a temperature roller coaster out there today, tomorrow, and then on into the weekend.
Thank you, Amelia. A beautiful day to say goodbye to our beloved pandas, for sure. We're keeping our eye on the plane there at Dulles International Airport. They just closed the door. So we are very close to that plane taking off and heading to China with a stop in Alaska to refuel. 19 plus hours that they will be in the air. So let's go back to the ground there and see what's happening with our Amy Cho, who is following the very latest.
Okay, so you're going to stand like maybe here-ish. Yeah.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, guys. Yes. Hey, yes, so the plane, the engines are on, so we're in the final moments here, and I'm joined now by the director of the Smithsonian National Zoo, Brandy Smith. I know this is such a difficult day for you. We're all heartbroken, but for you especially, you've watched these pandas grow up.
I have, and I've been taking a lot of time this week to just say goodbye on my own. But today, all I am is proud. I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our pandas because it's been a very successful morning as they head home to China.
And tell me about the loading process and how they've been doing with all of the commotion.
They're so great. I mean, I love working with pandas. They're very chill. And so their crates, we've been training them in their crates to make them a happy place for months. And so they're basically in a happy place, and they're going to travel with their favorite keepers and a veterinarian with their favorite foods. So their airplane travel is going to be first class.
I love it. And so it appears we're in the final moments here. What else still has to happen before this plane takes off?
They're just making sure the pandas are fully secured, that the humans are situated, everybody's ready to go.
Do you think you're going to be able to visit them in China someday?
I've had the good fortune to be in China a few times to visit the panda facilities. I've seen our other pandas who have been there, you know, Taishan and Bao Bao and Bebe. So, yeah, I know I'm going to see these pandas again.
And you mentioned earlier that you have hope that maybe someday we can all gather on this tarmac again and welcome a new Panda Express plane.
I can't imagine the National Zoo. I can't imagine Washington, D.C. without giant pandas. The program has been so successful. Our relationships are so good with the scientists. I cannot imagine the future without them, and so I'm looking forward to this moment when we welcome them back.
Yes, me as well. We'll mark the calendars whenever that happens. Yes. I will. All right, Director of the Smithsonian National Zoo, Brandy Smith, thank you so much for joining us. And there you have it, you guys. We are in the final minutes, just about 20-30 minutes left before this FedEx Panda Express plane takes off, bringing our beloved pandas back to China. Back into you.
And a perfect way to kind of start the process of our final countdown with hearing the zoo director talk about how they are, comfortable inside those crates. And it's a VIP experience for them. They won't be uncomfortable at all on this trip. It's good to know. It makes you feel good, even though so many of us are very sad about seeing them leave the National Zoo. But good perspective and hope for the future for the Panda program at the National Zoo.
Yeah, she talked about, what it's been like for them. They've known the date, and they knew today was coming, although they did not publicize it till today. But the zoo director and the other keepers of the Panda program have had moments to think about what today was going to feel like. We want to hear from some of them right now, and what the emotions they're going through as the Pandas say goodbye.
I mean, this has been my career for almost 30 years, and I don't know what a day is like without working with pandas, so that's going to be a huge, huge change, so it's going to be hard.
It's an emotional time for sure. It's personal, I've worked with them for nearly 23 years, and I've loved every minute of it, so it'll be hard to say goodbye, but I'm happy that they get to enjoy their retirement in their homeland, and I know they'll do great there. They're fantastic bears, and I've enjoyed all the memories that I've made with them over the years.
I'm definitely have a mix of feelings. So I'm excited, I'm nervous, and definitely, I'm sad the Pandas are leaving. So it's a massive, career highlight for me to get to do this trip. But I also know that, at the end of this trip, I'll be coming back to the zoo and they won't be here. So it's a lot of mixed emotion.
The one-on-one relationship is probably the best part of my job. They definitely look to us for comfort. They know us really well and they trust us. So in a time of kind of stress where, they're in this place where they don't know what's going on, I suspect they will come and sit next to us and, look to us for calming reassurance.
I end every night telling them good night, I'll see you tomorrow. So I might just do that. Even though I won't see them tomorrow, I might just keep up the tradition.
Aw. Putting in the work, 2 decades of very important national conservation work with these pandas, and of course, good news that we heard this morning, they're not on the endangered list anymore, although they're still at risk. So we see Joseph Olmo there live at the airport from the high view there. Joseph?
Hey, Millette, good morning. Good morning. Good to be with you. Or good afternoon now. My goodness, it's 12:40. We've been out here for hours, and I can confirm right now that both of the engines of our FedEx 777, the Panda Express, are on, and those turbine fans are indeed spinning, which means we are just moments away from seeing that 777, that Panda Express, taxiing down the runway and taking off en route to China with that quick fuel stopover in Alaska. Today has been such a big day. People in and around the DMV have idolized the pandas for literally decades, and it's so funny to see this normally vacant top roof of this garage here at Dulles filled with dozens of people. I'd say at this point we're up to about 50 people in front and behind me, and this includes Tommy and his mom, Jennifer. We had them briefly on News 4 a couple minutes ago, and then we had to cut out because of that press conference down there. But Tommy, I don't want to get you in trouble at school, buddy. You skipped school to be here, huh?
Yes.
Yeah? How come?
I just wanted to say goodbye to the pandas, say farewell, and I wanted to compliment all the people that took care of them, like the zookeepers, and that how hard it would be for them to let go, and all the other people that were really very attached.
Absolutely. Well said, buddy. I mean, now that you see the plane, the engines are on, the doors are closed, they took the stairs away, how does that make you feel?
I only got to know them for a little bit, but it does make sad. It is sad.
It is a sad moment. Mom, I promise I don't want to get you in trouble with school. You let him play hooky today for a very good reason. We were talking about how much he's learning out here right now between conservation and transportation and aviation. How does it feel to be out here?
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. And this morning we were all ready to go to the National Zoo, actually, and then we heard the breaking news on NBC4 and decided to pivot and use that life skill of flexibility and come here and experience all of this. So we're really grateful.
A real life experience for sure. So you guys were literally headed to the zoo because you had this inkling, this feeling that the pandas were going to soon be heading out. And did you make it there?
No, we did not make it there. We actually woke up at 7 a.m. and heard it on NBC4 that they were going today and that the zoo would have a late opening. So we pivoted and came here.
I'm going to have to say that is the definition of working for you. Tommy and Jennifer, Mom, thanks so much for talking to us this time. We didn't cut out that interview. All right, we have some more breaking news here, if you will. We have that 777, the Panda Express. It is moving, folks, down the ramp here. It's going to taxi to one of the runways here. It's unclear right now which runway it's going to end up taking off at. There's actually a runway right on the other side of this taxiway here that we've seen planes land and take off at. So hopefully we'll get a really, really good shot. But I know Brad's up there in Chopper 4 just in case it does not take off at the runway that's adjacent to where we are. But there you go. I'm just going to let this sit here for a second. Take it in. You see the giant panda on the nose of that aircraft, or right by the nose. This is that FedEx. Everybody's calling it the Panda Express, a 777 aircraft headed out for a 19-hour journey between the DMV and China with a quick fuel stop in Alaska. A historic moment for sure here, and you're watching it live on News 4.
Yeah, Joseph, thanks for all that perspective and interview. Amy Cho, you're on the ground as this plane is taxiing to the runway. Tell us what you're seeing.
Hey guys, yes, it is so sad. It was really loud just a couple of moments here with the plane engines going, but now that it has started to pull away and start to taxi, it's gotten really quiet, and I feel like that's so emblematic of what we're experiencing. Just, you know, a quiet stillness after our 3 beloved pandas have been loaded onto that FedEx Panda Express plane now, and you are watching it as it slowly starts to pull away down onto the runway where it is going to be taking off to Chengdu, China on a 19-hour journey with a quick refueling stop in Alaska, I should add. But there it is, some of our final moments with our beloved pandas, Xiaoqi and parents Mei Jiang and Tian Tian, now all headed off to go live in China with other pandas and panda cubs. So we are super excited for them and the lives they have ahead, but of course, so sad to see them go. Truly the end of an era in DC, and you're watching that plane again take off very shortly here. This is the 10th time they have shipped a panda on a FedEx plane, so they know what they're doing by now. They have it down to a science, but it still does not make it any easier. We spoke with the director of the National Zoo moments ago. She was telling us just how heartbreaking it is, but she still holds out hope that maybe someday we can all gather here again on this tarmac and welcome in new pandas on a new Panda Express plane. So we have our fingers crossed for that. But there you're looking at it off in the distance there, that plane starting to make its way down the runway to go head off to China.
The last of the 3 pandas at the National Zoo on loan to us from China are just about to take off and head back to China. This is an incredible day, I tell you. Brad Freitas is also keeping an eye on the plane from the sky in Chopper 4. Brad?
The Panda Express taking its place in line about 4 or 5 planes back from taking off from the runway here at Dulles. A sad moment for 3 bears that are leaving with a little piece of our hearts from DC. But we are happy that they are making their way home and hope for the long life and enjoyment that they're going to experience when they do get back to China. We're watching as the plane taxis towards the runway now and getting our last look. We'll give them a wave from Chopper 4 as they lift off into the skies and watch them disappear into the great blue. Guys, back down to you.
Oh, Brad, thank you so much. I mean, just we know that planes move slowly as they're getting ready to taxi,
Yeah.
but just watching it go slowly now, you just want to tell it to stop, put the brakes on. Obviously, though, we know they're going this program 50 years in the making since 1972. We have had pandas here in our nation's capital now. They're getting ready to take off. Amy Cho has been following this from the very beginning, is still joining us now this morning. Amy, if you can just kind of tell us, we know there's a crowd kind of watching next to where you are. We see the smartphones out with folks snapping pictures, getting video. What's the feeling right now in that crowd?
Yeah, right now things are settling down a little bit now that the plane has pulled away, but it has really been such an exciting and emotional morning here on the tarmac at Dulles International Airport. Lots of media from all kinds of outlets here just gathered to soak in this moment and to bring it and share it with all of you at home. Truly such a surreal, historic moment to be a part of. Now I should point out this is a separate area of the airport from the main terminal where people catch flights and pick loved ones up and things like that. So if you are flying out of Dulles today, unfortunately, you were not able to catch a glimpse of all of this because this is in a separate area. Obviously, pandas need lots of security and supplies and things like that, so there was just no way for them to be able to do this on one of the normal sections of the airport where all the people are flying out of. But so we are watching as the Panda Express is pulling ever farther from us off into the distance, and it's set to take off any moment now on a 19-hour journey to Chengdu, China. They have lots of bamboo and treats and toys stocked up for that journey, and they have multiple zookeepers and a veterinarian on board, so the pandas should hopefully be in good hands. But such a full circle moment because Mei Xiang and Tian Tian had come here in 2000 on a FedEx plane, and now they're taking a FedEx plane back, so truly a full circle journey, and we're just so sad to see them go.
Yeah, this is the 10th time the FedEx Panda Express has been called into service. Our 3 bears, our beloved pandas, on this flight back to China. Bittersweet moment for so many of us here in Washington. We've heard from the National Zoo director who talked about the heartbreak and the joy of all of this. And the hope for the future that this conservation program between us and China can continue once again in the future. But this is it.
Yeah. Hopefully
this is it.
10th trip for the Panda Express, but hopefully not the last trip.
That's our hope.
Right? You know, everyone's hopeful that we will continue this diplomatic relationship with China that has been so great for conservation. I mean, I think in the early 2000s there were but just a couple hundred pandas living in the wild, and now we've got into over 1,500, I think it is, and so it's been a great program.
It has been a great program.
And it's been great to see it grow.
So many people have come out at the National Zoo, of course, at the airport to see this moment. Joseph Omo has been watching as well as he saw the plane come in. All right, Joseph? And now we're seeing the final moments on the ground before takeoff.
Yeah, we are, Millette. And actually, some good news here. It looks like this aircraft is going to take off in the runway that's right in front of us. Yeah, and there it goes. It has started its takeoff roll. And Dira, if you want to show the plane here, it started its takeoff roll here. It's going to be departing any second now here from Reagan National Airport. And you see so many people have their eyes on this plane. I'm even going to try real quick.
Oh, wow. I think those wheels are up in the front.
You have somebody yelling here. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement here. Here it comes running down the runway here.
Wheels up.
V1 rotate. There you go. Wheels up here from Dulles International Airport. This FedEx plane headed straight to Alaska for a quick fueling stop, and then all the way to Chengdu, China, a 19-hour journey. Just listen in here, folks. And there it is. There's the moment. You see the crowds of people lining up here to get that final video. People have been waiting, Jumi and Millette, for literally hours to see what you just saw. In fact, some of the folks who are lined up here are airport employees, some of them coming during their lunch breaks, some of them coming before they even get to work. Dulles International Airport, big airport, some pretty cool planes fly out of here, like the Queen of the Skies, the 747, but nothing quite like this. And again, like we've been saying all morning, this is a flight that probably won't happen for a long time here. So you just saw that 777 take off. It's slowly climbing up there in the skies right now, headed all the way to Alaska. That's going to be its first stop on this 19-hour journey. You see this woman here in the blue jacket waving a fond farewell to these pandas, closing decades and decades of family fun at our National Zoo here in Washington, D.C. An attraction that brought so many people to the heart of our nation's capital, now headed away. It's a bittersweet moment for sure. It kind of leaves you without words, honestly.
Yeah, it's the end of an era. Hopefully not a closed chapter, but this is the end of an incredible era.
Let me just remind you here, and Indira, if you can turn around. Rose, why don't you wave to us real quick one more time? Remind us how long you've been out here just today, Rose.
I think it's just 6 hours.
You think it's just 6 hours? Just 6 hours. My goodness, you were the first person up here when we got here, and you've been filming this entire time. Why, Rose?
Because we love the panda. We love. He's from China, so we just follow him like 6 months every day. We have a good relationship, so yeah, this is my way. I want to do that.
Rose, I see you getting a little emotional. What makes this such an important moment, an emotional moment for you, Rose?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome. That's Rose here. She lives in Maryland. She's originally from China. You see her just taking this moment in. She's literally been on the top of this parking garage for hours today. She tells us 6 hours just to see this moment, these beloved animals that she's seen for 6 months in person at the National Zoo, now headed home.
Well, we are sad to see them go as well, Rose. Thank you, Joseph, for bringing us that interview. Let's head over to Amy Cho right now. Amy, I know you're there covering the story as a reporter, but also a big fan of the pandas. How are you feeling now that that plane is in the sky?
It is just so sad and bittersweet to know that they are officially gone. That plane took off. We saw it just now. It is now a speck in the sky, just out of sight. What a moment to be able to watch this play out right in front of our eyes. I can tell you everyone on the ground here broke out into applause right as that plane was taking off. So much effort, so much planning, logistics, so many people worked hard to make this moment possible, to pull it off smoothly, to make sure that everything could go safely and the pandas would be well taken care of. So truly a feat that they were able to pull this off right on schedule too, I might add. Right at 12 is when they said they were going to load the pandas up, and that's exactly what happened. We saw each of the 3 crates being loaded into the plane. So sweet. That one last wave goodbye from Mei Zhang, and now they are officially on their way to China. You guys.
What a beautiful way to end things with Mei Zhang saying goodbye to all of us. I mean, that was so special. And I can't even imagine how it felt there with you guys being so close. Thank you so much, Amy Cho, for your incredible coverage, our incredible team coverage throughout the morning here. So before we go, a special tribute to the pandas' time here in D.C.
It is no secret. Our good friend Un Yang loves the pandas and will miss them more than most of us.
Their appeal is undeniable. What is it about the pandas?
They're very charismatic. They're just cute. What can you say? They're fun to watch. They're playful. Everybody remembers watching Mei and Tian and the cubs all roll through the snow and just enjoy life.
Seeing these roly-poly black and white floofballs at the National Zoo enjoying life has been sheer joy for me. And I aspire for a time when I too can just frolic in my yard, sleep whenever and wherever I want, and eat. And eat again. They remind me that even in DC, you can be relaxed and carefree.
It's going to be hard to top them, but I've worked with really cool animals beforehand, and I will go on to work with really cool animals after, but they'll always hold, of course, an incredible spot in my heart.
The zookeepers and curators have formed personal relationships with the pandas through their daily interactions, training sessions, and feeding time. I'd like to think I've formed my own personal bond with the pandas.
Nice throw!
Not only have I fed Mei Zhang bamboo, from a safe distance of course, I observed a special medical checkup for Tian Tian on site at the zoo. I had the chance to paint with the pandas, holding the canvas as they created their masterpieces. And I even helped decorate the farewell cake for one of the 4 cubs born at the zoo. Their names, you ask?
Go.
Ling Ling Sing Sing.
Okay.
Mei Zhang.
Okay.
Tian Tian.
Okay.
Tai Shan. Bao Bao. Bei Bei. And Xiao Chi Chi.
Hey!
So you can imagine how distraught I am as the 3 remaining pandas head to China. Their keepers understand.
I'm just trying to focus on getting them ready for the trip, and then we'll be on the plane with them, and probably we'll have my breakdown then.
While we can laugh about our obsession with these unique bears, the sentiment is real. The Zookeepers have been the Pandas family in D.C., and they will be the last Americans Mei Xiang, Tian Tian, and Xiao Qiji will see before they settle into their new homes.
The one-on-one relationship is probably the best part of my job. They know us really well and they trust us, so in a time of kind of stress where, you know, they're in this place where they don't know what's going on, I suspect they will come and sit next to us and look to us for calming reassurance.
Is there a way to know? Are they going to be okay?
I'm sure they will be okay. They'll get new keepers that will love them as much as we do.
What they won't get is a local news anchor who has delighted in their impossible cuteness and has cheered for the sweet panda family for 20 years. Have you thought about how you're going to say goodbye?
I have. You know, I end every night telling them good night, I'll see you tomorrow. So I might just do that. Even though I won't see them tomorrow, I might just keep up the tradition.
And how fitting that Anna ends our coverage of the Pandas saying goodbye. Big thanks to Juliana, Tommy, Joseph, Amy, Brad Freitas in the chopper to help us bring you this special day in this coverage of the Pandas saying goodbye.
And all of our producers and everybody on staff who brought us this team coverage. Just incredible. We're going to leave you now with a final look at Mei Xiang, who kind of punctuated this moment perfectly with her beautiful face in the camera, in the shot. It was the shot of the day as we say farewell, bye-bye to all of our pandas at the National Zoo.
We'll bring the store to your door.
You get more for your money at Thompson Creek.
We make your windows right here in our local factories.
So you get high quality windows at an affordable price.